All units, this is dispatch. We've got a red station wagon blasting Panama and being awesome and partying and being rad.
Not in my town, dispatch. This is Officer Stickbutt in pursuit.
Stickbutt, break off pursuit. Panama kicks too much ass and shreds way too hard. You'll never catch him.
Negative, dispatch. Just need to wait for that running a little bit hot tonight part.
Yeah, we're running a little bit hot tonight.
Bingo. Got him now.
I can barely see the road from the heat coming on.
What's he doing? Suspect is headed toward Unjumpable Canyon. It's totally unjumpable. Unless
what, Stickbutt? Over.
Dear God, he's gonna do it. He's gonna time his jump for the greatest harmonized sound drop in 80s rock history.
You're right. The part that goes, ain't no stopping now.
Damn it!
What happened?
Get off this channel, Joe.
Come on, I want to be an outside cop.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
I got scared. I dropped my hot pocket.
I'm drinking rum.
It's rum and nerdy.
I'm drinking rum.
The time has come.
I'm drinking rum.
So grab a glass, some ice, your bottle, 'cause we're about to drink some rum.
Kicking like I usually do, drinking.
I'm drinking rum.
Here's Greg and Garrick.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Rum and Nerdy. I'm Greg.
And I'm Garrick.
And this is episode 5.01.
501.
This is beginning of season 5. And we have a new naming convention.
We do.
Thanks to our buddy Sean.
Threw this one out, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be
It's gonna be
cars.
It's gonna be way easier than food.
Yeah. It's going to be cars. But it's not just like name a car. It's going to be like a car. I think a car in nerddom, a car, just like there's something.
Just a car, an automotive in general.
Yeah.
Or a car that stands out in some way that you really like.
Yeah.
I think next week's episode is going to be the Daewoo Laganza. Because I really like saying Laganza.
Yeah.
Come on, it's the Daewoo Laganza.
Well, this one, if you haven't figured it out, is the red station wagon blasting Panama.
Panama.
That is just one of the funniest
I love that clip.
Family Guy things ever.
Oh my gosh. It's, yeah. Why is it? It's, Family Guy or Rick and Morty. Yeah, that's our go-to for intros because they get us.
They do, yeah. You see me. I feel seen. Anyway, so
we could do like theme months, like shitty car theme month.
Shit Brown Cordoba.
I was gonna go with the Dacia Sandero. For any Top Gear fans out there, good news, Dacia Sandero is back.
That's funny.
It's not, but
and
there's like one person out there in Nerd Nation laughed their ass off at that one.
Well, we can also like reference things like Project Binky.
Project Binky would be good.
There was finally, like after a year, there was another episode like a month and a half ago.
Are they not done with that?
They're done-ish. Like they took it, it was unfinished, but it was running, and they took it to a show to show it off.
Yeah.
And like they broke something. So it was
they broke something.
Well, there's the last one that was going on was the dashboard cluster was never finished.
For those of you that don't know, Project Binky is an online YouTuber that's modifying heavily an original Mini Cooper, and they're weaseling in like some mammoth
Celica
engine. I thought it was a Civic, but okay.
No, because I always just remember it because they
call it Celica.
Celica, yeah.
Yeah, because they're British. Yeah, but it's a really fun car build, and watching really talented fabricators with dry British humor.
Yeah, they're really into making brackets. That's a thing. But and they're super funny. But it's this last one that was like after a year they finally went back to it. It was them building the instrument cluster.
Mm-hmm.
So for the blinker and everything, they just couldn't do anything. So they ended up kind of building a circuit board printer from scratch.
Why? What? Why?
To get it to look original.
Got it. Okay, so they're trying to make it look original.
That the computer could
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
So
because they make a lot of aftermarket gauges and dials and things that retrofit into clusters like that.
Yeah, they wanted it to look original. So and again, forgive me, I watched it in like a month and a half whenever it came out, but they basically had got like a 3D printer setup, and they put a soldering iron melter feeder like out of a wire feed welder.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's fucking awesome.
It was amazing.
3D printed a circuit board.
Yeah, well, they bought a sheet like fiberglass, like from Granger-ish kind of catalog board.
Yeah,
and at the end of it, they basically were like, so we had to redesign this a million times. Not to mention the fact that a lot of the time over the last year was figuring out how to build the machine to do what they wanted to do, so they could build a new instrument cluster, and they basically had done it out on CAD, had to learn how to design in a program that would allow this thing to do it. And it basically laid down beads of solder as a wire line on the board.
Yeah.
And every time they went back, like, okay, we're going to redesign it, they would go back in with like an X-Acto knife and slowly peel up and then shave off that line and reprint it to the new design. And they showed a box of all of the mistakes or the pull-offs that they had done over the year. And it was like, like a 6-gallon box full
crazy.
Of misprints and things as they experimented to build the machine to do. They invented the machine to do what they wanted to do, and ultimately it freaking amazing work.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, for them to, to have the blinkers and the odometer and the tachometer, like all the things.
When you start breaking down all of the individual components that go into a car's dash, there's a lot of shit there. And it adds up
Absolutely.
quick. If you've never gone through a wiring diagram and truthfully, a lot of that stuff is simpler now because it's, one cable, it's all running on the same CAN bus, plug it in, burp, look, magic thing works. But when you look at an old 70s vehicle and all the individual wires and things, at
the end of the day, when you look at this car, the intent is it looks exactly like this, like 1980 whatever.
Oh, it's like
Mini.
It's like a 70s Mini. It's an original Mini Cooper, yeah. But I thought they put like big flares on it. Like they custom made some big flares. So it looks like
they had to because they could not shrink
the drivetrain.
Yeah, the drivetrain just was as wide as it was.
It's going to look like a decent resto mod, but the thing is from the ground up an amazing car build. Huh.
Yeah. It's
just when you think we've run out of things to nerd out about. Automotive fabrication. Look at that, Nerd Nation.
Yeah. It's
we nerd about all the things. Like the Daewoo Leganza.
Yes, the Daewoo Leganza.
What's the shittiest car you've ever
owned,
driven in, been a part of? Something from your childhood where someone says, "Oh yeah, Geo Tracker," and you'd be like, "Yeah, that's fucking garbage."
Okay. So
worst, absolute worst.
One of my first. I had a lot of early cars. I had 2 cars before I ever had a driver's license. I owned 2 different vehicles. And then finally I ended up getting, when I had a driver's license, I finally ended up with a 1980 Firebird. That
80 Firebird, that's a, hold on, 2nd gen Firebird? That's like Smokey and the Bandit.
Kit version.
Okay, that's not an 80. If you had Kit, that would have been 82. Yeah, Kit is a 3rd gen Firebird that came out in 1982.
I really thought it was an 80, but
I really think you're wrong. If it looked like Kit, that's an 82 to 92. He says off of the top of his head.
3rd generation. Yeah, it's 82. Fine, fuck you. No. 3rd generation was introduced in 81. So split the difference.
Split the difference. Either way. So it's a Knight Rider-ish, not a Smokey and the Bandit-ish. Okay.
So, fun cars, pop-up lights and all that stuff. So
V6 automatic?
I don't even remember. It wasn't automatic. I do remember that.
Those cars you could get them in stick, but it was rare.
Yeah. It was a cheap car. I needed a car and it was a cheap car.
You didn't have a driver's license?
No, this is like the first car I ever had was a 1955 Ford pickup that was rebuilt was Chevy 315 transmission.
Nice.
And I had bought it, and my dad's buddy did body work. So he was doing the body work on it. And when it got time to like paint it and everything, like I think he fell in love with it because he came and said, I've got a 1973 El Camino that's ready to paint. You can pick the color. I'll finish it, and you can have it even trade. And my dad loved El Caminos, and I have never been a huge fan of them. But my dad was like, oh, my God, this is a great deal. You've got to do it.
It's the mullet of cars.
Yeah. So I did it, and then this was right before I was able to drive, and my brother was doing neutral, because it was an automatic. My brother was doing neutral drops in it and destroyed the transmission. So I ended up paying for the parts for a couple guys I knew to swap the transmission in it. And this was when I was like 15 years old.
Yeah.
And we got it done, and I don't remember why, but I think I was just so pissed off, and I'm like, Dad, I hate the fucking car. And he's like, whatever, then just sell it. So I sold it and ended up with this Firebird.
Oh, okay.
So Firebird, it was okay car. It was cool. When it was wet, it looked good. When it was not wet, it looked like oxidized paint.
It's a GM car. I get
Yeah.
it. It's a GM 80s vehicle.
Yeah,
I get
of
it.
a certain age. Yeah. So, and this would have been around, I don't know, early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, very early 90s. And
So that's it. It was still the generation of Firebird that was. If you went to a car lot, it's still that general body shape of Firebird is what they had.
Yeah.
The fourth gens hadn't come out yet.
Well, when the engine went out on it, and I just didn't have money, I was like, I can't fix it, whatever. And the mechanic that I had used, that was a pretty stand-up guy. Like, we liked this guy. Like, you know, my dad had found him on some stuff that he had fixed, and the guy was always really cool to me. And he came in, like, I took it to him, and he's like, irony. I didn't let my brother drive it. He took it after I came home from work and I went to sleep, and he took it and drove from the Kansas City, the Johnson County area. He drove out to Lawrence, where KU is, and spun rod bearings in it. Mm. And when they pulled the oil pan, the mechanic guy looked at me and says, "Did you fucking do this?" And he was mad. And I'm like, "No, my brother had it." And because it was like, obviously it was knocking really bad. He didn't throw the rod; it just spun the bearings.
Spun the bearing, yeah.
And it looked like metal confetti filling the oil pan.
Oh God!
And so, you know, he's like, also, there is 6 quarts of oil too much in this engine.
Wait, what?
6 quarts.
Too much?
Yeah,
6.
So
it could hold an additional 6 quarts. Holy crap!
He might have been exaggerating, but apparently when this happened, my brother drove it after the knocking started, it, and he later told me, he's like, I started making noise, so I had to drive it to the nearest gas station. It was 30 minutes away because there was a highway between towns.
Yeah.
It ended up in way south, like south side of Olathe, if you know, where Kansas City area.
No idea.
Like it way far away, and like 40 minutes away from the house.
He's like, I'll just put a copious amount of oil in it.
And he's like,
fine.
yeah, and that's what he thought. Maybe it was low on oil. I'll keep putting oil in it till the knocking stops. And eventually it wouldn't turn over.
Oh, God.
So the mechanic guy was like, listen, I tell you what, it's not a terrible car, whatever. But I've got this fucked up broken car. It runs fine, but it is the ugliest piece of shit ever. It's a 1979 Thunderbird.
Okay.
And you know, the
79 Thunderbird is the pinnacle of ugly Thunderbirds.
Yeah, huge fucking car.
But yeah, it's not the biggest. It's just really goddamn ugly.
This car was fucking huge, and it had like those light covers that would. But there was the vacuum tube, whatever.
Yep.
You know, it had the little switch, and it looked like it had been painted with a broom. Like this light blue, and it looked like it was painted with a push broom. It's just terrible. So we all nicknamed it the Thunder Chicken. And like the thing was a freaking tank. When you opened up the trunk, it was completely rusted out. There was a 2x4 kind of spanning the trunk that was used for something to catch a wire to hold the tailpipe up. Like, that's how bad this thing was.
What I think kids nowadays are getting robbed of the shitty American car experience.
Yeah.
Because in the 70s and 80s vehicles, just and even 60s, like depending upon what you're getting them, how you're getting them, they used to be very plentiful, and they sucked, and you had to suffer through just large amounts of these shitty vehicles. Buddy of mine in high school had a 73 Thunderbird, 429 Cobra Jet V8. Thing was, I think it's the largest Thunderbird ever made.
Jesus.
It's absolutely mammoth. Not to be confused with the smaller, stylish Thunderbird that was used in the 1971 James Bond film Diamonds Are Forever. James Bond got through in the trunk of one of those. But they had the cool tail lights, and it was still relatively small. But they just became giant and shitty. And yet still somehow awesome. Let's see.
The gas crisis, and American car makers just kept getting bigger and bigger and saying this is what Americans want, and then all of a sudden they started buying these little.
So do you remember what engine you had in that?
No.
It was available with the 302, which is basic. That's the 5-liter Ford 5-liter.
Yeah.
That has been around from the 60s. I think they finally discontinued it in
it's
1995.
Ford's version of the 305.
It's the
or 350.
Yeah, it's the 302. Then they had the 351 Windsor V8.
It was not that.
It was not that. They had the 351M, which is a modified version of the Cleveland V8, which is what I have I have a Cleveland in my Mustang. And then a 400 Cleveland V8, which is also not great.
Yeah. No, this was not great.
These are not great. So you had the 302, call it?
Probably. It was pretty bare bones. There's nothing special about it. I remember at one point, so the vacuum lines that would hold the light covers up did not work anymore. So I had to get screws and screw them in the open position and then replace the switch for the light switch so that the lights would be able to come on. Because what was happening was that when the switch went bad, the covers would just drop, but the lights would stay on. And, of course you didn't know it, and the battery would die. So I had to basically wire or rig the light covers up and then replace the switch, because the replacement switch that I just went and bought from, like a 12-volt switch from the hardware store, worked fine for the switch, but it didn't also operate the covers.
No.
And when I say Thunder Chicken, I'm not kidding. We painted the word Thunder Chicken on the front window up at the top.
Because that's what you do when you have a shit car.
Yeah.
You do crazy stuff like that.
Yeah. It was a piece of crap. Anyway, we're still not drinking rum.
Yeah.
And so, real fast, what we're drinking today is Siesta Key spiced rum. This is Florida's finest craft spirit. We'll be the judge of that. It's made in Sarasota, Florida, with honey and spices. This is a small batch. This was a gift from the themed entertainment ladies that joined us at the IAPA Kickoff Barbecue, and this was their
offering.
Yeah, well,
we bring you rum as tribute.
The funny thing is they brought a gift bag that had that in it, and then it had a bag of gummy nerds because it was rum and nerdy.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a solid gift.
Nailed it. So we've had this on the show before, so I won't go too much into the review of it, but it's pretty solid rum. It
smells delicious.
The previous bottle I finished last Friday with Scott and his wife. Oh. Well, they were drinking, because he had never had the Plantaray Cut and Dry, whatever, the pineapple one. He had not had that one before.
Really? Pineapple?
No, the coconut, sorry.
Oh, coconut. Yeah. I was about to say,
he had not had that one before, so he had
coconut's
a couple.
Fantastic.
And we didn't really drink. Like, I think I had three servings, and he had 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw that was like one left in it, so I finished it.
Small batch, family owned. It has a rum with honey and spices added. It has a delightful nose.
Yeah, super smooth,
caramelish.
You can drink it as a rum and coke. You can sip it straight. No ice cubes right now, and it's.
I don't remember this rum at all. Also, not expecting it to be as smooth as it is. Holy crap! There's like no forward burn.
Nope.
It's got a bit of a afterburn taste to it. But
Definitely taste the honey, but the honey taste isn't overwhelming. It's like honey that you would taste in a mead.
Yes. I'm going to throw some ice in there. I'm going to ice it. I'm icing mine.
I'll take one or two.
You want one or two?
Oh, or three. Whatever.
That too. Whatever.
Anyway, yeah. So
That's fun.
here's our rum. We will have to grass and drink and some rum. By the way, hope you all like the new intro, season 5 intro. That was a complete gift surprise. Anybody's fans of this show and listens to or follows Demo Dave on his socials.
Was it him or was it Shannon that posted it to her socials?
I think they both did, but
where she was like, had fun with Dave in the studio. Blah,
yeah,
blah,
did not mention what they were doing.
Nope, not at all.
Just that she was in helping do voiceovers, and so they completely came up on that. We had no input. This was a gift to us, and
I love it.
yeah, I love them. They're just so fantastic.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
not completely non sequitur from the intro. Did you watch that new Muppets show?
Not yet.
Muppets Mayhem?
Not yet.
It's
About
Dr.
yeah.
Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, like finally getting around to recording an album.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I found that apparently
a trailer.
Apparently it came out in 23 or 24. It's been out
Really?
it's been out for a while.
I just saw the trailer like a week ago.
Yeah, literally. Just found it. I'm like, how did this sneak under my radar? Fucking hilarious. The in-canon story is that Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem were the house band for the Muppet Show. And when the Muppet Show was canceled, they just started going on tour. And they never stopped to cut an album. But their recording contract they still owed an album to the company.
Yeah.
So it's all about a new record producer trying to get them to cut an album. And it's kind of fucking hilarious.
Looks great.
I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And what they're doing
right
is
from the trailer, a lot of cameos in it.
oh my, a ton of cameos. Yeah, absolute ton of cameos. There was the episode I watched yesterday. No spoilers, but there may or may not have been an excuse for everybody to go on acid trips, but it's a Disney Plus show, so it wasn't acid, but psychedelics were involved.
That's
and
funny.
they had one of the Mayhem had a vision of Weird Al. Like Weird Al came to him in a vision and talked about stuff. It was good. It's a really good show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
They set up the Electric Mayhem basically like the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch what a Grateful Dead style, Muppet adventure would actually be. But it's
cool.
They did a really good job with it.
So I just finished. I'm kind of caught up and finished all this. So Sandy and I just finished the final season of What We Do in the Shadows. Have you seen any of that?
No, I've heard really good things about it though.
I think we've talked about it before because I think Scott and Christina watched it because it's like one of those we talk about it on the air and then they'll give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one. I thought they had wrapped it up. The way they ended the previous season, it was like it's done. But they did one more season, another 10 episodes, I think. But Sandy and I finished watching those over the weekend. I finished season 2 of Foundation on Apple TV.
I've heard really good things about that. Like that's been on my list of shit.
That's so good. That's like Isaac Asimov wrote that.
Really?
Yeah. And
you know what? I think I knew that.
And I believe it was written before Dune, but it's kind of in that 10,000 years in the future, this, so the general plot of it, and the time's really, really interesting in this because when they do the long distance space travel,
yeah,
they kind of go in this hibernation thing, but there's also this other kind of space travel that goes very, very quick. So it depends on how you do that, whether you travel quickly or slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to pay attention because there's different timelines that they kind of diverge just based on how people travel, but then they still tell it kind of in a linear way. So it's a little bit weird. But generally, you've got this scientist that uses mathematics to predict the future with zero fail. So he basically I forgot exactly the name of the science, but he's basically that. So at the same time, the galaxy is ruled by this ruling family, Empire, but Empire is cloned like every however many years they will have another clone brought in, and it's always like morning, day, and night. So there's always 3 of them that are all about like 20, 25 years apart from each other. And the head guy is always the middle guy. He's, yeah. So, and then the young one is kind of learning from the other 2. And then the older one is, the like I've been here for 60 years. I know what's going on. So it's kind of crazy. But of course there's political unrest and all the things that happen from that, different assassination attempts and so on and so forth. They find out that there is imperfections in the cloning DNA. And, so there's all these different things that kind of come to bear on this. The main Empire mid-aged guy that's ruling it all is played by, I think his name's Lee Pace. He was in the Lord of the Rings movies as well.
Who do you play in Lord of the Rings?
He was the elvish king from the Hobbit movies for Mirkwood.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you saw him, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that dude's been in a bunch of shit."
Oh, okay. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Not the winner of the That Guy Award, but he's up there.
No. I'm gonna look it up real fast. That's not how you spell that. Oh, here you go. That guy. Right there. Yeah. Yeah, Lee Pace. He's Brother Day. Brother Dawn is Cassian Bilton, and Brother Dusk is the older one. And then Harry Seldon is the scientist guy.
No, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty cool. Anyway, it's a really cool show. So watch that. I feel like I'm kind of like buttoning up some other stuff. Sandy and I are plugging away, but I pulled up some stuff. There's some shows that I've been meaning to watch that have the season 2's coming out soon. Netflix have got The Recruit. Season 2's coming out. I heard that's really good. Terminal List, which is on Amazon, and that has Taylor Kitsch and what's his name from Jurassic World? Star-Lord guy. What's his name?
Oh, Chris Pratt?
Yeah, Chris Pratt's in that.
Mm-hmm.
Wheel of Time looked really good. Season 3 is coming out. So
Wheel of Time.
And then Sandman. Sandman season 2 is coming up.
Nice. A show that we haven't talked about in detail, we've mentioned, but I don't think we ever got around to doing a show on it. Maybe we did. Who knows? Time moves really fast. Colin Farrell won Best Actor in the Golden Globes for Penguin.
Yeah.
He did a really good job with that.
That show is awesome. Yeah, and we still haven't talked about it.
We haven't. I was my buddy Nick. I was talking to him about it the other day, and yeah, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I'm not a huge superhero fan. Blah blah blah. I'm like, no. It's not that.
It's more of a gangster movie.
It's more of a gangster movie. Or show. It's like, do you like The Sopranos? Oh yeah. Okay. If you like The Sopranos, you'll like where this is going.
So speaking of that, I saw on TikTok. I saw a clip from the movie The Irishman.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I've like I was looking at that clip and said, I don't know that I've watched this movie.
Isn't that's the only best director? No, I'm thinking
It's Martin Scorsese.
It's Martin Scorsese, but it's the first. No, The Departed is the one that he won the Oscar for. That was his first one because The Irishman was Netflix only or something.
I don't know.
I say that like we're We should have somebody over here on the internet just looking this shit up all the time. But yes, The Irishman was Jimmy Hoffa. Al Pacino plays Jimmy Hoffa.
Really?
The Irishman? What do you mean, really? Isn't that the one that you're actually watching?
I haven't watched it. I saw a clip on TikTok.
Oh, it's really fucking good. It's really good.
No, it's not. It's an illustration of Frank Sheeran's life from World War II veteran.
What?
Hitman for the Buffalo crime family and his alleged assassination of his close friend Jim. Oh, yeah. So it's yeah.
Yeah, it's Hoffa.
Well, I was thinking it was. I don't think this focuses on Hoffa. I think this is just.
Does Al Pacino play Jimmy Hoffa?
Apparently, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but this is, I guess this is more focused on the guy that allegedly killed him and the crime family. So not necessarily that, I guess. I don't know. But I haven't watched it.
He's not the focus, but it's Jimmy Hoffa. It's a major plot point.
Okay. Well, I have not watched it yet. I saw a clip.
Well, you're missing out. I'm a huge mob guy, and I really enjoyed that movie.
The clip was Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro at some event or whatever, and then they're at a bar, and this other gangster guy comes up and it was like,
"Go get your shine box."
No, he's asking Joe Pesci about some Irish League something pin, on his jacket, and giving him a hard time about it, and De Niro takes him off the side and says, "Hey, like he's a made man," and says, "Yeah, so am I. I thought we were all brothers." And so like this guy's a schmuck, and then it cuts to De Niro because the guy's like, "Yeah, it's my birthday," and then it cuts to this guy and his wife and his kids in a restaurant, and De Niro, you hear him kind of monologue, and he's like, "Yeah, it was his birthday, and he's there with his wife and his kids," which is I think important because he's going to learn his lesson, and then he walks into this Italian restaurant, but then it doesn't show like what happens next because it's TikTok, it's all clip. But I'm like watching that, go, what happened? Now I got to watch the fucking movie. So,
it's a really good movie.
Yeah,
it's a really good movie, and that's the one where.
So after watch, I'm gonna come back and be like, yeah, it's about Hoffa.
Because like De Niro is he's like the main guy in the movie, but they de-aged him. So it's actually him doing all the stuff, but it's like you're watching young De Niro, and it's one of those movies where they were talking about the tech behind de-aging the characters throughout it is really well done. I enjoyed it. Of course, that stuff doesn't bother me. I know that you freak out about questionable CGI in film.
I don't freak out about it. I'm just
not freak out. You notice it.
I'm critical.
You're critical. You notice it. 9 times out of 10 I miss it. Like Superman when they had to CGI out his
beard,
mustache or beard.
Yeah, it was like a full beard, and
it was like that looks so bad. I'm like, bad. I didn't even notice. Didn't even notice.
Yeah, it's like
I was looking at everything but his face. Apparently.
Why is his face shaped like it has a beard, but it's just skin?
I didn't even notice
because they just took the MS Paint eraser tool and erased the hair frame by frame.
We should get our buddy Corey on that one.
Yeah, right. Corey, what'd they do wrong? Well, what they did was they saw a piece of dust that ended up being his ear. Now it doesn't have an ear.
I told that story to somebody recently.
Corey's the best.
Corey is absolutely the best.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of on my list. I got a bunch of stuff I want to watch. Start playing a new video game.
Oh, what'd you start playing?
It's called Arma.
Geddon?
No, it's just Arma, ARMA, but Reforger. Arma Reforger. And apparently, like the saga, the game, it's primarily based on PC. It's kind of funny compared to like what I'm used to. It's a much like lower tech but higher involvement game. Like this.
Lower tech, higher involvement.
So, like the graphics, it's not like as high graphics as some of the game and things like. It's open world, but Arma apparently the legacy of this game, and as somebody who's a gamer, I didn't know I'd never heard of it. And Brian's like, "No, really, you haven't heard it?" So, and I'm gonna get hate mail from some of our listeners. I can't believe. Anyway, so apparently Arma was this other game, and there was a plug-in for it that specifically you could play kind of Cold War 1980s missions against the Ruskies kind of thing. The whole thing takes place on this island. And so that became really popular. So Arma 2 was kind of just a rehash of the plug-in that you could play this game. So this is modernized. And it's really, really interesting in that, in video games, some people are like, oh, it's not even realistic. Like, if you get shot 100 times and you live. Nope, not in this game. You get headshot, you're just dead. And then you have to respawn. But here's the thing, too. Like, every quote-unquote day that you go in for a mission, you start with a handgun.
Yeah.
And, like, the spawning point's usually like a barn or some base, and there might be, like, a machine gun or something else. But there's, like, clips, and they're hard to come by. So you can't just rattle off all your bullets and then just expect that you're going to go into a guy that sells them for... There's no money. It's like you have to kill the bad guys and then take their guns to kill the rest of them. And, but they've got servers. Every server can have 6 people. And it's very common for, if you're in a game, you find the other people in that server. And they're like, one of the things your guy has is like a CB radio. And you click it and you call. And if you call on the radio into your mic, whatever you say is actually what they hear, no matter where on the island they are. And you can be like, hey, yeah, I'm in this town. You guys want to meet up? Yes. And the game is promoted that, like, if you go in by yourself, unless you're really good at this game, you have no hope of not dying. Because the reality is, if you go into a base with 30 guys, you're dead in 2 minutes. And that's just reality. Because you only got to hit like once or twice. You might take a shot in the shoulder and make it, but in the chest of the head, you're just dead. So it's really, really hard. And every time that you start a quote unquote campaign, you're starting from scratch. There's no, well, I built up the stats of my guy. No, you're just a dude. And the skill comes from the player and not these stats or abilities. So it's weird. In general, I'm loving it, but the controls are so clunky because they're designed to play on a keyboard on a PC, and the way the menus would work really well with a mouse, but they suck really bad with controllers. Yeah.
Was it Call of Duty? One of those games. I actually, for the PlayStation, I got the little keyboard, like the mouse and keyboard
really
things. Yeah, because I was used to playing Counter-Strike and Combat Arms, all those online games where it's, mouse keyboard, and you get so used to the mouse keyboard controls.
Yeah.
That somebody actually, they loaned it and hey, try these out. This will make it better. And it did make it better.
Really?
It's just like a little partial keypad that just had that.
Just the keys.
Just the block of keys you need and a true
mouse.
It's
like the WASDX on one side.
Yep.
And,
just that little thing. But because when you play PC gaming, the controls are so it feels better than that crappy joystick on a thing and just.
I like having used to play video games on keyboards. I so much like the controller better. And there's some of the games that are fairly complex. And like Witcher was very complex in the way that you'd have to go into your menus and to fast select items and things. It's like, where it's a combination of buttons. And once you kind of learn that, it's so intuitive.
I think Grand Theft Auto is the only. Kind of that
dude.
There was some driving slump for what?
GTA 6.
Oh, have you seen the maps?
I've seen some of it. I was watching some trailers on the World Generation, and it's like PlayStation 5 is still latest, greatest, the best in the world. And they're like, this game, they may need to wait until PlayStation 6. It's like for it to really truly optimize. It is so big.
The map I saw was awesome.
Yeah.
It's the Florida-based one.
Yeah.
So it's got basically Miami to Tampa, Key West, and then up to Orlando. Like they have theme parks and shit in Orlando in the game.
Seriously.
I cannot wait to check out Grand Theft Auto Disney World. I got to imagine that's going to be amazing.
There's so much coming out now. GTA 6 release comes with major warning for players, says analysts.
What's the major?
This came out today. GTA 6 is apparently going to cause a lot of issues when it's released in the wider game industry, and developers need to be ready for it. There are a lot of great games coming in 25, no doubt about it, but I don't think any of them stand a chance against GTA 6, given how much hype surrounds it. People went mad about the teaser that only gave us glimpses of the open world. God knows how they'll react to the full freaking thing. Rockstar Games is hailed as one of the best developers in the business, and now the studio that have brought us Red Dead Redemption 2, which, by the way, is rumored 3 is in the works,
nice,
is gearing up to smash all of its prior records and probably sweep 2025 Game Awards, depending on when GTA 6 is launched. That said, analysts have revealed a warning for other game developers, basically telling them to step up their game. So it's not like something's going to be wrong. It's just other games are going to be crap in comparison, I guess. Industry analyst Emmanuel Rosier recently had an interview with GI.biz and said, Rockstar's history of crafting genre-defining titles positioned GTA 6 to set new industry standards, yet its challenge lies in navigating a gaming world increasingly dominated by live service titles. The graphics on the people on the beach. Holy crap, look at this.
Yeah, I'm looking at because they have it. Yeah, Orlando, Miami, Tampa, Key West. I'm looking at a large scale map right now of everything that they have. They have the attractions. Look at that. Look at that. I can't. It kind of looks like they took all of the Orlando-based theme parks and crammed them together into one big theme park. They got MCO. Is that a water park? Man, they got some really good shit here. Like I'm really excited.
It's just, okay, so it cuts off north, or like the north side of Orlando. It looks, based on what I'm looking at here, it looks like they've got the 417 and 429 circle around Orlando.
Yep. It's
scaled down a little bit.
Obviously.
So you've got kind of this east-west, and then
they got the Space Coast, Cape Canaveral.
This would be kind of 429 over here.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I'm gonna save this. I'll post it for everybody to see. This is the one I found.
So technically,
it's I have a high res image where somebody they put all of the real locations like Lake Okeechobee, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach,
and down to the Keys.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's the south half of Florida is this map. Which is just nuts. It's
really crazy because technically we live in this game.
This is the first time a Grand Theft Auto game has included my house. Well, in theory, my house. I live on the north side, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, in theory, the neighbor, like the part of town could exist in this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to see what they named it. Yeah, there's they have like a golf community up there. Suburban hell.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
Florida University. Yeah, they're fucking UCF. UCF is in the game. They have the big stupid circle drive around campus, and it's what's it called? Called F something University, but they have the little university logo on there and everything. It's straight up UCF. This is hilarious.
Is there a hard release date yet?
Not that I see.
Just sometime this year. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be insane. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So what else you got going on?
That's a big part of it. I finished yesterday. Finished my first Lego build of the year. Well, my first Lego
Lego build of the year.
Lego build, not brick because you got me I forgot the name of them, but the little
Fogo or whatever.
Micro,
Fugu,
yeah.
Flugelhorn.
The Arrowhead Stadium and Chiefs helmet, and they're like, I don't know, half to third scale of regular size.
They're probably half scale. They're teeny.
Yeah. So it's the Arrowhead Stadium, and that
where the Kansas City Chiefs play.
Yeah.
For those that don't know. Yeah. In the event you've never heard this or listened to the show before.
Yeah. And here we are, about to start week 1 playoffs.
Yeah,
Wild card weekend.
I was talking to my parents the other day, and my mom's like, "Man, it's Monday night and there's no football. What the hell?" I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, the season's over." She's like, "What do you mean the season's over? I thought there's always a Monday night game." I'm like, "Yeah, there is." During the season. Yeah. The season starts on a Monday and it ends on a Sunday. There's no more football. And she's just, don't worry.
So
we're in the playoffs. We play next week.
Ending the season in drama, because you just can't.
Ending the season in drama.
Have you heard about what's going on with Bengals?
No.
Yeah. So apparently there's a petition. Okay, going in, I think we might have mentioned this before. So going into the playoffs, Cincinnati had a terrible first half of the season and a pretty decent end.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's broke all threw more touchdowns than anybody and broke 4,000 yards, and it was insane. But they had a terrible defense, and so they lost games because of it. So going into the final week of the season, they were 8-8, and they ended up winning. But they needed 3 things to happen. They needed the Chiefs to win against Denver, and they needed Miami to lose against the Jets. Now, the Miami Jets game could have gone either way because the Jets are freaking terrible.
Oh my God!
But Miami hasn't been. I think they had a couple injuries or whatever, so they lost. Bengals won, and then it came down to the Chiefs game. Well, the Chiefs, and they announced it like a week ahead of time.
No starters.
No, and it was like
second and third string only. This is tryouts for next year.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Legitimately, they hired a guy to fill a spot so they could sit somebody.
Mm-hmm.
They hired a guy to play one freaking game because they did not have enough depth to sit the guy that went to sit. Now, this is right after the Chiefs, and they weren't the only, there was 4 total teams, but right after the Chiefs played 3 games in 10 days, which is I don't think before this year.
That's tough.
Yeah, and Kansas City's bye week was in week 6. They're tired. They're beat up.
Yeah.
They're just starting to get their original starters from the beginning. Everybody's just coming back healthy. Not everybody, but most. They're going to give them the week off. So the Bengals fans, I don't think the organization did it, but the fans started throwing out there, the Chiefs are going to intentionally lose the game because they're scared of the Bengals. And
that sounds like some fun PR.
Yeah. And then, of course, it was 41-0. Denver trounced all over it. But Denver's got they have really good pass rusher, really decent defense.
I didn't watch any of the game, but my mom said that they switched halfway through. They're like, this is such a blowout, we're not even going to play it anymore. And they switched to some other game.
Yeah, it was at the third quarter, when it got to the third quarter. And a lot of people were like, fuck you, we're watching this game. So luckily it was on ESPN and CBS or whatever, so you could still switch back over. But it was complete blowout. There was a really cool play. Denver threw into the end zone, and it was kind of tipped by their receiver, and then one of the Chiefs tipped it, and then one of them tipped it, and then one of them caught it. So we went back and forth, and it was tipped at the back of the end zone 3 times, or 3 or 4 times, and then finally caught. It was a hilarious, holy shit, what just happened thing. But yeah, it's the takeaway on it is Kansas City does not have a backup quarterback. Carson Wentz is garbage, and needs to be and everybody's saying it's Carson Wentz has not played. He played a little bit in the preseason. He has not played at all this year. Mahomes has just played everything.
Yeah.
And he needs this because with all the mix-ups happening with quarterbacks in the league, he had a really good chance of picking up a 1 year somewhere as a starter, as a kind of a gap fill-in year. Yeah. And after this game, there's no way he's going to do it. In fact, it's just like, I think he's done. I don't think the Chiefs would keep him,
really,
even as a backup. It was terrible.
Ooh.
I think it was terrible. And now, again, he didn't have any of the starting receivers or anybody, but a lot of those throws were like, I don't know where you were throwing that, but you don't have a player there. Anyway, and he was like sacked 7 times. But here's the funny thing. The Bengals fans have done a petition to try and force the NFL to kick Denver out of the playoffs and allow them to have that spot, and that some sort of penalty needs to be levied on the Kansas City Chiefs for intentionally throwing the game because they're scared of Joe Burrows, and they're scared. So they threw the game so they didn't have to play them because they're terrified of Joe Burrows. Now, I'll remind you that Joe Burrows has not beat the Kansas City Chiefs since they've received 2 Super Bowl rings. They have not beat the Chiefs since 2021. But their fans are like, this is the worst thing ever. They should be penalized for not playing a game because it's not fair to the other teams for you to not try. And because like at the beginning of this season, they're not accepting that their team sucked and didn't win enough games.
Mm-hmm.
So the translation is Chiefs were obligated to get them into the playoffs. Play their starters, everybody else, risk their players. The game had no effect for the Chiefs whatsoever. No matter what happened, it would not affect the rest of the season at all in regards to standings or home field event, anything. So I did a little research.
Oh, God.
Yeah. The 2021 season, in Game 18, they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. It was the last time they beat the Chiefs, I think. And in beating the Kansas City Chiefs, they were the number 1 seed, and they were a lock. Game 18, they rested Joe Burrow and other players. And the Browns beat them in Game 18, and that loss affected the rest of the playoffs, or the playoffs picture for the AFC.
Huh.
So it was okay for them to do it. And also, there were also, I think, 5 or 6 other teams this year that sat a good number of starters to rest them for the playoffs. But because the Chiefs did it, it's some sort of malfeasance. And
this is why you can't be trusted on social media, because you pick fights with everybody.
Me?
Or no, you respond to everybody with... You feel the need to defend everything.
No, it's just it's like even the talking head shows like the ESPN, like everybody's talking about how much the fans of Cincinnati are doing. This isn't just social media. This has become a whole thing where people are demanding that the Chiefs be held accountable
for resting their starters. I don't know, man.
First time Andy Reid did it was in 2004. It has not been an issue in 20 years. So, Cincinnati fans, I'll say this. Kansas City, they really need a new backup quarterback. And if your defense and rest of the team sucks so bad you can't get in the playoffs, maybe Joe wants to come be our backup.
That'd be fun.
I'm just saying.
That'd be fun.
Probably not going to happen.
No, not at all.
Anyway. Enough football.
Yeah.
Well, so season 5, episode 1 in the books. We have a naming convention. Next week, we're out on the coast.
Out on the coast, yeah.
Recording.
Some official themed entertainment business.
Yeah. So we'll record from that. Shannon will be around. I wonder if Shannon will end up joining us.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, pack an extra mic.
Maybe she can sing along with the intro live.
Maybe so. Maybe we'll write a verse too.
Ooh.
Yeah. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
I
wish Dave was going to be there too, but alas, we'll see him soon. Anyway, I think that's it. Speaking of Dave Martin.
DumbaDavePro.com.
We love that guy. Check us out on our website, rumandnerdy.com. That's rumandnerdy.com.
Socials, we are at rumandnerdy, also A-N-D.
And you can email us, show@rumandnerdy. That's show@rumandnerdy.com. And please do, we're still looking for 1 or 2 final Ask Rum and Nerdies. I think we're really close.
Oh, yeah.
I just need to make the list. So we'll be doing that in the next couple weeks. I think we're going to do more lists and fun things this year like that. Get back to some lists.
Going to do more lists. And I have a very special rum sitting on my shelf waiting to crack open. We got to do that.
We still got that. We've got Scott's Rum Taster, and then we've got the big box here that we want to do with Tommy, but we might have to do it without Tommy. I don't know.
Oh, well, hopefully maybe we can get him on here this weekend.
Possibly. We'll see what happens.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
I don't know. If not, we're going to be close to where like he lives. So
bring it with us.
Maybe. We'll talk to him about it.
Probably not going to be enough time.
Either way, thanks everybody for listening. Welcome to season 5.
For everybody in the greater Los Angeles area, stay safe.
Oh, yeah.
Because holy crap.
Yeah, it's El Fuego.
Yeah, I just as we're talking, I'm getting messages in like, oh yeah, by the way, these offices are closed and these coworkers have lost their homes. Like, it's a big deal.
Yeah, we've got 2 friends who have evacuated their homes because they're in bad areas.
Yeah.
So, but they're safe.
That's good.
They're safe.
That is good.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, be safe.
Stay nerdy, my friends.
Doing here?
The canal. She's finished.
What canal?
Think, senor. What is your new favorite song?
Panama?
Si, it is the Panama Canal. Your President Woodrow Wilson is giving the dedication right now.
Ah, you reach down between my legs. Ease the seat back. Got the feeling. Power steering. Pistons popping. Ain't no stopping now. Panama?